How do you set goals? Well, there's two different ways to set goals: result goals and action goals. So, what's a result goal? That's when you say, hey, by this date, you write it down. This is what I want to accomplish. And you definitely want to have result goals. I don't know if you've ever heard of your reticular activation system, but this is something in your brain that is always paying attention to things that are important and discarding things that are not important. A quick example of this is like, let's say you're in a crowded room, there's conversations going on everywhere. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of your ear, you hear the words Scott Jeck. You hear your name. And all of a sudden you go, hey, someone just said my name. Well, that's your reticular activation system saying, hey, pay attention, this might be important. Another example of this is you buy a new car, or a new car to you. And after 2 weeks of driving this car around, you start to notice, boy, there sure is a lot of 2020 Ford Tauruses out there. And that one's a little bit different color. It's got different wheels or something like that. But you pay attention to this. Now, were those cars there 2 weeks ago? Of course, but they weren't important to you. So this is why you want to set result goals, write them down, put them around so you constantly are teaching your reticular activation system to pay attention if anything can help you hit your result goal. Now, the other one is an action goal, which is I'm a big fan of action goals. Why? Because I can always control my actions. I cannot control whether somebody uses their free will to say yes to me or no to me. So I love going out and setting a goal. Hey, I'm going to set this action goal of knocking on 3 doors today. Whether they answer or don't answer, I did what I was supposed to do. And then obviously you're trying to make sure your action goals will get you to your result goals. Okay, so the reason why action goals, especially if you make them so stupid easy, you want to make the action goals so easy that you have no excuse that you could give yourself that you would buy. Okay, and so I made a goal a long time ago to work out for 5 minutes a day. Every single day the rest of my life. I can never use the excuse that I'm too busy. I've always got 5 minutes. I can never use the excuse that I'm too tired. Okay, I'm only going to work out for 5 minutes. Then you build that discipline of doing this regularly, and things will snowball from there. In fact, after you do your 5 minutes of working out, guess what happens? You get the blood pumping, you start to feel good, you get a little runner's high maybe or whatever, and you decide, I could go another 5 minutes or another 20 minutes. So set those action goals to make it so dang easy that you would never buy any excuse that you would give yourself.